Welcome. It's time to board ATD Airlines. Take your seat, strap in, and prepare for takeoff.
Gold dripping off the ropes, family tree colossal, bloodline royal, built on that gospel, legacy deep, no shallow pool splashing, dynasty rise, all doubters get to crashing, I acknowledge the dynasty, crown so heavy, you see in the flames, every move stays steady, from the islands to the stage, the family's decree, bow down, feel the power, this is royalty, palm trees whisper where the legends were born, tides carry tales of the mat they adorn, from Rikishi stomp to Umaga's rage, history inked on a champion's page, red lace the carpets, the morning drums beat, echoes of the forefathers under our feet, I acknowledge the dynasty, crown so heavy, you see in the veins, every move stays steady, from the islands to the stage, the family's decree, bow down, feel the power, this is royalty, fire in the eyes, that's the bloodline's code, generations built the path, we just walk the road.
Damn, see, I did it again. So I said all that for nothing. I'm sorry. Okay, but it was just a basic welcome. So just welcome. Happy Tuesday. Again, I'm tired. So see, I just got off work. I had a long phone call. I was late getting off work. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. So Leslie right now wants to have a good day and spend some time with y'all. Okay. So what we're going to do, I'm going to be... You know what? I really debated. Let me be real. I really debated on whether or not I wanted to do this, but it's part of this episode, and I want to get it all to you. So, but before I go any further, Dalton, I'm so glad you told me. See, I need you to be my producer, yo. Hello. First off, guys, if you're new, I'm one of these. First off, I want to enjoy the younger viewers, but it is 18 and up. Okay, I'm a mom. I'm not going to be y'all's babysitters on social media. Number two, no disrespect. I will kick you out of here faster. I don't care if I got 7 viewers or 7,000. I will kick you out over disrespect to anyone in my chat or to myself, and probably you push it, I'll cuss you out. So I do not want to get ATD banned from YouTube. Having said that, moving on. So what we are doing, my name is Leslie. For the new ones, I am part of a pro wrestling podcast, Acknowledge the Dynasty, where we focus on the Anoa'i Fatu Samoan Dynasty Wrestling family. So that's what the whole podcast is about. As for me tonight, I'm on episode 2. This is episode 2 of Between the Ropes. We are talking about the psychology of the wrestling fan. Okay. Hello. So episode 1, I recorded and dropped. Okay. I would like for you to have watched that one, but if not, I'm going to go over it a little bit, but please still go back because it was really good. Okay. I'm proud of that episode. So we were talking about the psychology of the wrestling fan, and this is something that you all can participate in. Okay. If you're fans, wonderful, awesome. And by the way, thank you for the 14. This is something y'all can participate in because y'all going to be the stars. I wanted to cut it off if no one showed, but I'm going to be the professional. And if y'all don't want to be here and share your thoughts and opinions, I'll give you mine. So you still stuck with me. So do you want to hang with me or do you have to watch me still? Just saying. All in love, y'all. All in love. Okay, so having said that, the last episode we basically opened up. It was part 1 about rings about the wrestling fan psychology. We talked about kayfabe. We addressed some demographics. We talked about parts of the story, your opening, the story arc, the opening, where the middle, where you get the heat, the comeback and all that, and the ending, of course, the finish. We talked about, let me go back here. If y'all do see me, yes, I'm looking back on my notes, so just bear with me. We talked about catharsis, which is basically expressing a strong emotion that leads to a feeling of peace and insight, and how wrestling can play on our morality. You get the good versus evil. For wrestling fans, you got that babyface versus heel, right? I don't like it. I always like that. So the basics, we cover the basics. Beyond is it real? We know it's scripted, right? But so is Young and the Restless. I rest my case. But it's how it makes us feel. It's just us enjoying it, right? It's an escape. And we talk about that. We talk about the escapism. We talk about tribalism. Tribalism and community is big in our business, in the IWC. My fave is better than yours. Okay, let's not be like that, guys. I can think of some fandoms that are just like that. Correct. Yes, I can. Even some in my own favorites fandom can be kind of crazy. But we also, despite any tribalism, we have community, right? We come together. We form podcasts. Hence ATD. We network online. Hence Culture Clash Network, right? In some instances, the wrestling companies listen to us. Sometimes some of us like to get involved in the real life drama, guys. And I titled the segment in episode 1, None of My Business. It is not my business who they married to, who they dating, what they done in their past. I don't want to see, they mugshot. I don't need to see their kids on my page. I don't need to see, it's none of my business, right? So none of my business. But, it's okay. It's okay if they've been through stuff, to admire that they've made it through, personal lives, but you don't get creepy with it. Again, the arc that we talked about, the art of the story with the story arc. We talked about selling. We talked about pacing and timing through the match. We talked about delivering, changing cadence of promos. Demographics. And I've discovered, get your Asian friends into watching wrestling, okay? Because according to the demographics, we don't have many Asian friends that watch wrestling. And I want to get them into it because they have some really awesome Asian wrestlers. And, the lasting impact. Now, this is where it comes to you, guys. And I'm going to come back here to y'all because I've got some questions to ask you guys, okay? I have got some questions to ask you guys. So, again, y'all are the stars. And I'm going to, after I ask these, I'm going to come back to your comments. Okay. 24 people. Y'all make me happy. Y'all just saying, look at the poor little girl on the internet trying to, okay, whatever. I don't care. You're here, right? So anyways, yes, definitely subscribe to the podcast here on YouTube. We do watch parties Monday, Friday. And for PLEs, we got this Friday, SmackDown. And then Monty will be with you. If y'all don't know Monty, y'all got to come in just to get to know Monty, okay? So she will be here for Royal Rumble. Miss Leslie has to work. But guess what? If there's VTO offered, aka voluntary time off, and I get to watch Rumble, guess who's going to be the first one in line? Okay, I rest my case. Let's get on to the questions because I want to hear y'all's views and I want to get through with this. So looking back on that episode, the first question I have for you, if you are ready and just Ready to go? What is your first memory of watching wrestling? If you're a wrestling fan, in the comments, what is your first memory of watching wrestling? And I will post that, and then I will share you with mine as you type those up. So my first question, what is your first memory of watching wrestling, of wrestling? Okay. So there are some of you in the comments. So I'm going to go ahead. If you're a new fan, stay, because we had to have somebody inspire us to get into it. I'll be 48 years old in May, and I've been a fan of wrestling since I was like 8 or 9 years old. Okay. Again, if y'all don't share, I'm just going to share mine. You're going to have to hear my mouth anyway. So whatever. Okay. A little bit of a hill. Okay. I like it. You stuck with me. Hashtag I am stuck with Leslie. That's it. It needs to be trending. I love it. But yes, so what was the question? Y'all got me tickled. What was your first memory of watching wrestling? Okay, so before I'm going to go ahead and share mine. So again, I done told my age. I ain't ashamed of that. Shoot, whatever. But my first memory of watching wrestling, and who actually got me into wrestling, is Hall of Famer tag team. One was, in my opinion at the time, just an awesome, amazing looking blonde. And the other was this brunette. And they came out and they did a freaking awesome sauce double drop kick that just wouldn't quit. The Rock and Roll Express, y'all. Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson. That was my first intro to wrestling with one of my best childhood friends. We would stay up and sneak and watch because her dad watched and was a fan. But that's who inspired us to watch wrestling and to continue to watch wrestling. I actually got to meet them several years ago. I really didn't get a chance to tell them that, though. That would have been really cool to been able to share that with them. But that was how I got into wrestling, and I don't know the why, really. I know something caught my eye. I don't know if it was these guys. I don't know if it's athletics. I really don't know the why, but that's my wrestling origin story. So Dalton says Jeff Hardy calling out the Undertaker, and the Undertaker raises Jeff's arm, show respect after their ladder match. So Jeff Hardy, see, I can tell y'all younger than me. If that's your first thing with wrestling, y'all young. Y'all's babies. And let's see. And he says, so I think I remember it was 2002, but forgot when, to be honest. So we think it was, okay. Let's see if I missed anything. All right, but that was, and even Dalton, if this is even just me and you, they can watch, right? They can watch and watch us. So, but yeah, so that was kind of my origin story of like, my first memory of watching it is watching those tag teams in the old NWA. I know NWA has several, kind of big on the indie circuit now. They have several divisions, I guess is the best way to put it. Several territories is what we would call back in the day. But yes, that was my first memory watching wrestling. Then we went on into like Dusty and Sting when he was young, and I can go on and on up into the present. So the next question, what makes you invest so much emotion into a scripted performance? What makes you invest so much emotion into a scripted performance? So we know it's scripted, but why do we invest so much emotion in it? Because you know what? Let's see. He says it's hard for me when I start watching wrestling, especially around 7 years old. Okay. And I find a lot of us, we do start watching. So, But yes, why do we get so emotionally invested in this when we know it's scripted? I'm going to give you all a chance if you're in the comments to answer. Oh gosh, that's a good question. Why do we get so emotionally? You know what though? I go back to the TV shows because it's the characters, it's the storylines. It's let's see. And TJ says that he started watching when he was 7 years old. So I think it's cool. It's cool if you start young because you can like. I think for me being older too, I've even taken to the history of it like before my time, especially doing the podcast, like hearing about and like the Wild Samoans and like seeing them and like even if I could find a match on YouTube maybe of Hachi Peter Maivia just to watch those matches, right? But yes, what gets us again what makes you invest so much emotion into a scripted performance? It's the storylines. It's the storylines for me. It's the storylines. If it's a good storyline, like let me give you an example. This Bloodline storyline, and I'll say that because yes, I'm a Bloodline fan, but like that Hell in a Cell match with Roman and Jay had me going. And y'all know, if you know me, you know I just adore Roman. That's my favorite. But when you like to the point where you like crying and then you cussing him out and then you like, what are you doing? Yeah. So that was it. But it's the characters. And you know, TJ brings up a good point here. I get emotionally invested because of the characters within the stories, especially the journey. The journey, that is a key word, the journey, because it's the journey they take us on, right? We see their ups, we see the characters' ups, we see their downs. We see when shenanigans, as we say, shenanigans are afoot. We see when they act, when they act in a hot mess and when they on point, right? So we get invested. Like we see when if your grandmama's watched Young and the Restless, it was the same thing as seeing getting invested. What's that old scoundrel Victor Newman going to do today? It's Victor Newman. He always doing something even now. Shout out to Eric Braden for playing that part for so many years. I love it. Let's see. Dalton says good storylines, great moments. I agree. You gotta, but you know what? They have to pull us in though. If you want me emotionally invested in your performance, you gotta pull me in. That's your job, right? That's their job to me. Not to make us to believe it's real, but to just have us feel like it's real. And I think I said that in the last episode as well. Describe a time you felt a genuine sense of triumph or frustration during a match. Describe a time you felt genuine frustration or triumph during a match. Okay. Triumph or frustration during a match. Lord, as old as I am, I can mention anything. Back in the day, I was a fan of Shawn Michaels. I would get so mad when he would lose, y'all, to the extent of throwing stuff. And my boyfriend, my husband now, my boyfriend at the time, and my family would just laugh. They would just think it was the most hilarious thing. But a match that's made me frustrated, made me look crazy like that. Oh gosh, let's see. Let me go back. Describe, what was the question? Let's see. Okay. Let me go up here. Okay, describe a time. You know what? More recently, though, a time I felt genuine sense of triumph. I don't really have a match. Maybe it's when Roman come back and he did that character change, because, like, I know as a fan of his, like, it's so hard to watch before then. That would be the frustration. I can't name a match. unless it was, let me tell you, y'all don't come at me. Don't come at me, Cody fans. Okay. I got backup. Don't come at me. But it was when Roman lost to Cody. That was a big frustration for me at WrestleMania. Go ahead, laugh. I don't care. There's Mr. John. The five-time UC award winner, John Watson, with Sports for You Wrestling and Sports for You, right? And it's money. I don't want to be up here by myself. You should come up here with me, but it's okay. I'll be fine. Anyways, moving on. My next question for you all, and feel free to put this or discuss in the comments. Do you feel a sense of community with other fans? Do you feel a sense of community with other fans? Dalton said, let's see. Dalton said any monster heels turn to baby face. It's okay. Oh, y'all still answering the other one. Okay. TJ says, for me, it was when The Rock lost to Stone Cold, especially at Mania. That upset me. Man, you know what? Those Mania losses hit the hardest. Do they not? Like the wins and the losses at Mania hit the hardest. I think they do. But let's go on to the next one. Again, the next question was, do you feel a sense of community with other wrestling fans? Yes, I do. Let's make that simple, because that's what we are. I mean, are we all perfect? And do I want to cuss some of the people in our wrestling community, especially the internet wrestling community, out? Yes, I do. But I feel a sense of community with y'all, because this is what we have here, right? And I love it. Y'all. I mean, I'm not getting all mushy because that's not my style, but I love y'all big. TJ also said, when Roman Reigns was in his big dog era, I felt I was on an island on my own until I found you guys. Baby, you know what? I think we all felt alone during that era. No, we not going to talk about that. We love him for it still, and bless it, he worked with what he had to work with. But yeah, it was scary, wasn't it? It was so scary being Money says, okay. Money says nothing right now. Okay. Money says, we are niche, and I feel a sense of community with us. We are like this community here to celebrate the Samoan dynasty like that. It's like I feel like we're a big community, but at the same time, I feel like we're small. So that's one reason, the podcast was created. It was just to be able to deliver, and let people know about the family and what they've accomplished and give them their flowers. Money said, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about the big dog era, but that's okay. We still love Roman, but no, we don't talk about that. She said, I don't know that era. We was on vacation. Hey, but the Tribal Chief era is making up for that, though, right? I feel that. It's like, bitches, I'm here. I love it. But so we do. I'm so proud of us because we do have that sense of community, and I love it. So why do you think? I know now. For me, let me be real. I always lean more a little bit towards the heels, but I do have some baby faces that I like. Now, having said that, why do you think, or is it human nature to root for the underdogs? Why do you think, or is it really still human nature to root for the underdogs? Why do you think, with you on the chat, do you still like that? Do you still like to root for the underdogs, or is that being too much of a babyface fan? Because usually your underdogs are your babyfaces, in my opinion. But it just depends. I think with me, it just depends on the story of that underdog. Why are they the underdog? If they the underdog just because they I think so too. Like Sami, a lot of people consider like Sami Zayn like an underdog. And I think it just depends. Before I cheer for Sami to snitch, we love Sami. Don't get it twisted. We love Sami. But before I'm like really invested in him, it depends on who it has to be a monster heel for me to cheer for Sami. But when you get to someone like a Cody Rhodes, you get him. That's too babyface for me. I could tolerate Sami. As being mostly a heel fan, I can tolerate Sami, but I can't tolerate Cody. He just gets on my nerves. And that's okay. That's okay, because I wasn't the greatest John Cena fan either. But then we're comparing. We ain't going to compare John Cena to Cody Rhodes. Sorry, not sorry. Let's see. TJ said, I can't root for the underdog if there's no credible story behind it. The Cody finished the story felt forced. That's why I didn't care about it. I agree with that. Dude, I'm not bullying him. I really do. I appreciate John Cena, and I'm going to miss him. But I wasn't like a strong fan. I respected it, but I wasn't like a strong fan. Cody as a heel to me. Now, Daniel Bryan, here's one. Daniel Bryan was an underdog, a realistic one. Codisha Rhodes comes off as... Now, that is true. That is true. Daniel Bryan was very believable as an underdog. I did cheer for Daniel, except when he was going against Roman. I know, friend. It's okay. It's okay. All righty, guys. All righty, let's move on because I got a lot to cover here. Okay, so this is the psychological questions of it. And I don't know what, and I'm not going to, let's see. Let me see something here real quick. No, I don't want to do that. That's too. For those of you who are familiar, I can get the definition, but for those of you who are familiar with psychology, right? I'm not going to be like, I'll go ahead and present the question, but it's how does professional wrestling tap into our need for catharsis? So let's see. So if y'all want to answer that, you can. Okay, TJ says, I always wanted to cheer for Orton because I hated that the company was forcing Cena to win titles. Okay, he shouldn't have won. One, like WON. Okay. Awesome. But that one's kind of difficult. I don't want to answer that because I don't know how to answer that. Let's just go to this one, though. Can you explain tribalism in the context of fandom? Y'all, that should be easy to us. Tribalism is all wrestling feels like it is today. Can you explain, give me your explanation of tribalism in the context of fandom? You know what? Let's see, this is good. Monty said, we have stuff that goes on in day-to-day lives we have or know people that keep us down, and to see someone persevere or get their lip back, that's a big deal to us. Yes, I agree with that. So what y'all think about this tribalism thing when it comes to fandoms? Like what would you, like tribalism to me, I think it sucks because like, especially if you put it in a negative way, because like you have the AE, for example, with the promotions, you have the AEW fans dissing WWE and its fans, and vice versa. You have WWE fans dissing. It's like, it's wrestling. Okay. It's one, it's not that serious. Two, can we all just get along? It's wrestling. That's like with the fandoms. Okay. You have what? You have Cody's fans. You have the juice boxes for, is it Jay, Monty, or is it both Usos? Anyways, you have the Nao mob for Naomi. You have the Roman Empire for Roman. You have, back in the day, I don't know what it is now for Mercedes Bernardo. Since she's like CEO, I don't know what her little fandom is now. But back in the day with Sasha Banks, you had the Sasha crew. You got the Livdom fans. So so basically, you have all these different fandoms, and it can turn, if you're going at it like this, like my favorite is better than your da, da, da. Okay, first off, to me that's immature, but anyways, that's the negative side of tribalism. Is there a positive side to tribalism though? I really don't like that word, not when it comes to our business. So let's see. Monty says, everyone who thinks AEW is the greatest promotion of all time, but it's one of many good promotions. Okay. And she says, it's Jay and Jimmy now as the juice boxes. Okay. And you got the baddie section. Yeah, the baddie section for Jade. But guys, I promise it's not that serious. We don't have to. Feels like a lot of bandwagon fans out there. I wish that, I don't mind, like a bandwagon fan don't bother me, but don't come onto the bandwagon. Don't bring no negative energy into a business I love. If you don't want to be a fan, hop off my freaking wagon. I'm just saying. If you don't like it, if you don't want to watch it now, if you don't want to give it a chance 2 years from now, don't even get on. Don't even get on. Okay? No disrespect, but the door on the way out. Bye. Not concerned. TJ says fandom tribalism, fans who love certain brands or wrestlers only for the purpose that fit their narrative or ideals of what wrestling is. Ooh, I like that. Also, it's about which brand or wrestler entertains you the most. I like that first part of that. To fit your not, yeah, because like, okay, ooh, profound. Look at y'all with these responses. I love it. I love it. Okay. Now this may be, now if you are a younger fan, you may, and you just started like in the 2000s, you still may be able to answer this question, but I know Monty, we'll get it. So what role does nostalgia play in why people continue to watch wrestling? Let's talk about nostalgia. What role does nostalgia play in the reason that we still watch? You know what it is for me? Like nostalgia, you're seeing generations. You're seeing like Randy Orton, you're seeing, you're seeing generations of families that's in the business. So that nostalgia of remembering, man, I remember when his daddy wrestled. I remember when, and if you're older than me, I remember when his granddaddy wrestled. Okay. And it brings you back and it gets you back into it because, you mean Zilla is Rock's cousin? Oh, cool. You know what? That takes me back to Rock's such and such era, his debut when he came in, or it took me back to the People's Champ era of The Rock. Just, it don't even have to be like my age and older, you can have nostalgia just from something simple like that. And it's like, I guess nostalgia to me, does it really have a time limit though? I mean, yeah, to me, it's not like, last week, but wrestling 10 years ago, I think back on it as compared sometimes till today. Again, we talk about the certain unmentionable eras of certain superstars that we won't mention anymore, but that's not a good feeling of nostalgia for me. That's all I'm going to say. But TJ says it best. He says, nostalgia is important because it proves that the business keeps evolving. There you go. Look at y'all. I love it. I love the conversation. Monty says, it's like the Attitude Era. It reminds you of when you were a kid and the good memories of the 90s. Oh, gosh. And now it reminds us, we get a chuckle because we know that shit wouldn't be accepted nowadays. And it's like, oh, my God, dude, I lived through that. I lived through the hot mess that they were putting on my TV screen for Monday Night Raw is War. For the early days of SmackDown, I lived through what they put on my TV. Yeah. Good times. Good times. For me, WCW Nitro. Let's see here. Y'all, my shoulder and my back is hurting, so disregard. But I will do my best. Let me see this question. Is there a link between watching fictionalized conflict and real world emotional? So this question, is there a link between watching fictionalized conflict, aka to me wrestling, and real world emotional well-being? You know what? And so it depends on how you look at that, right? So I have a confession to make. I never watched WCW. Don't come after me. I ain't gonna come after you. Trust me. Sometimes it wasn't that good, so I have nothing to say. But okay, so watching fictionalized conflict, watching wrestling, and is there a link between that and real world emotional well-being? You know what? I don't know. I know like wrestling makes me happy, and it makes me forget, any issues. So I guess in that respect, it's good for your emotional well-being because it's a positive way. To me, it's a positive way to like, just let things out and just, anyways, I don't like that question. Let's see. Y'all talking WCW. I haven't watched WCW, but I heard what happened at WCW. And Monty says, sometimes it belonged in the track. I agree with that. But she also says with this question, wrestling is my escape from real world conflict. And that is nice. And it could be either conflict in our lives or just real world, like world global conflict, because you get in those few hours you're watching wrestling, you're not thinking about the craziness that's going on in this world. It's wrestling and your wrestling friends and you're focused, and I love it. Okay. So we're going to shift gears about some industry insider questions. And if you've been a fan a long time, you may know answers to these or be able to relate. But how do you think wrestlers use wrestling psychology to tell a story in the ring? How do you think they use wrestling psychology to tell a story in the ring? How do you think okay. I may have to come back to that one. Why did I pick these questions as I was doing my research and I can't even answer them? That's a confession right there, because I didn't really think it was that deep. I'm like, oh, these would be cake. These are easy, but they're making me think tonight. I'm making myself think, y'all. But and I think, let me go ahead and go into the next question, because I think these two are kind of hand in hand. Do you think that wrestlers can feel the crowd's energy, and how do you think it affects their performance? So, yeah, like as far as them feeling our energy, I think they can. Let's just remember, these are human beings out there doing what they love, that were trained to do what they love. So they're going to be able to feel the crowd's energy. And yes, is it going to affect them? Yes, because I feel like if I'm out there working my tail off to give you a good show, and you're not responding to me, one of two things are wrong. Either you don't like my stuff, or perhaps I'm doing something wrong. So, having said that, for me, I'm going to self-evaluate, and I'm going to look at my performance. But I think they could feel I think they can feel the energy, because when we're all up there and we're all cheering, you could tell they get hopped up. If you've been to a house show, by the way, the third episode is going to be about house shows. So there's your hint. If you've been to a house show and you've seen the wrestlers be able to be pretty much themselves, where they're not having to look towards a hard cam all the time, and they can focus on everybody in the arena, you see that change. You see them. That's where you really see them begin to feed off the crowd. Like, they can feel that energy, right? So I think they can. And I think sometimes, now, do y'all think sometimes you can see that? Can you see that on televised events? Do you think we can tell when they're feeding off our energy? Now, because let's admit, we've seen some really awesome crowds. Excuse me. Okay. Anyways, we've seen some really awesome crowds, and we have seen some really dull crowds, right? Like if you go overseas, European crowds are freaking amazing. And it's no matter if they love you or they hate you, they're freaking amazing, right? So I feel like whether it's a heel or babyface, they can feed off that. They can feel that energy. But over here in the States, we're different. I don't know what it is. It's like, why do you spend all the money? Now, tickets are high nowadays. So why do you spend that money to go to a show and just sit there? I always pray to God. I'm serious. I'm like, when I go to this show, please don't let me get in a section where they're dead ass. I do not want to be it, because I will be the only idiot in the section up screaming my head off. And I don't care to be that person. I will scream, I love you, Roman, to the top of my lungs, and nobody else screaming for him. I don't care. Just an example. Moving on, unless you all have something to share with. Okay. If you do, go ahead and put it in the comments, and I'll come back to it. Y'all got know the routine now. Okay. So this is going to be interesting, and I know I got some smart wrestling fans in here. So what do you think the difference is in playing a face versus a heel from a psychological perspective? Like, how are they different? How have those wrestlers got to be different? Like, how they got to be different? We know a heel has to think different from a baby face. Like, how do they do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, because we know what? We know they got to be able to react to they got to be able to, what's the word I'm looking for? Give off a certain energy to get that energy back. So you want the baby face to give off that positive fight, that they're fighting. Yay, go team, go. Visionary Van Garza, go team, go. Okay, sorry, Marnie, I had to. But you want that go team, go. Okay. The heels, they're not going to give off that kind of energy. So it's going to be a different perspective. The heels are going to have that darker kind of thinking, right? That darker, selfish, self-serving kind of thinking versus the baby faces, right? Are y'all enjoying this, or am I just talking my head off and boring y'all? because I actually look at the questions. I think it's kind of interesting, but that may just be me. But anyways, because I'm the one that researched it. But anyways, so that's how I feel when it comes to that. It's like the difference between the psychological perspective difference of playing a heel versus a baby face. It's you just gotta be able to tap into that dark side as a heel, whereas like yes, rainbows and unicorns as a baby face, right? Fight team fight, go team go. Now this is a nice one. I really want y'all to feel. How do you think wrestlers view their relationship with the audience? Is it a collaboration? How do you think wrestlers view their relationship with the audience? Is it a collaboration? Okay, again, what do we say when they come out? It's been said before. What? No pop. So, of course, it's a collaboration because you gotta have a reaction, right? Every superstar that walks through those curtains, no matter which promotion it is, you are going to want to get a reaction. That's the worst thing you can get in wrestling, being a performer, is no reaction. No pop. No pop. It's that simple. That's not good. You might want to, if you see that, you might want to reevaluate your skills. You might want to reevaluate. Yes. And you got to have that good reaction. Again, I expect like, I'm not going to expect traditionally, okay, and I'm a traditional thinking wrestling fan to an extent. Traditionally, back in the day, yes, you booed the heels and you cheered the baby faces, and they would do dastardly deeds to make you boo them. And then the baby face would be like, hurrah, hurrah, I'm the hero, to make you cheer them, right? But you have to have that reaction. No reaction is no good. And both faces and heels have to sell their journeys. Oh, I love it. I love that word. Being hopeful versus being sinister. Okay. What about when you have like these justified heels though? Like, you know, you have these heels that feel justified. It kind of like what you would call, I guess, like the anti-hero. They feel justified in how they acted. They act in a hot mess and they know it, and they just with all kinds of shenanigans, and they know it, and they want us to. What does Taylor say? It must be, I need Lauren in here for my Taylor Swift quotes. Always rooting for the anti-hero. It must be, what she said, it must be exhausting. It must be exhausting always rooting for the anti-hero. Yes and no, Taylor. Because it just depends on who your favorite is and what role he's playing. I feel like, in my opinion, that's what Roman played with the Tribal Chief character, is an anti-hero. Because he felt justified in acting the way he acted. But trust me, no difficulty there in cheering for that. I think he's awesome, and I thought it was hilarious. So, people should cheer fans heel. People should cheer fans heel or face if their fans are popular. Okay. Are popular with fans, or they're good wrestlers, and fans should boo, face, or heel if they suck. That's what I think. So, like, okay, so it's are you saying like in a performance thing, Dalton, if they're doing good, support them in their, I think it works both ways. You got to be able to like be good. Like you got to know, like if they're good, yes, but you could cheer that. You could give that energy that you appreciate that they're good and that they're trying hard, even if they're a heel. But if they suck, they just suck. Okay. And I have seen matches where I've seen so many botches, I just want to flip and turn off the TV and be like, come on. I could be, if that's what it takes to be in WWE, where's my contract? I've thought that thought. Because I see it. I see spots that are a hot mess, and I'm like, what the heck now? TJ said, I'm an anti-hero kind of person. Shh, Black Adam. Yes, okay. But yeah. Okay, guys, we are almost done. Actually, we're on our final question, guys. So now I'm older, so I can provide a lot of perspective on this, but I want to hear this from some of you younger fans. Like, how has the landscape of the business changed since you started becoming a fan? Dalton, TJ, I'm especially interested in you all. If anyone else is in chat and wants to put it in, how has the landscape of pro wrestling changed since you've been a fan? And do you like where it's going? Like the business as a whole, not necessarily a promotion, but the business as a whole. Do you like where it's going, or do you not like where it's going? As for me, being an older fan, it has changed drastically. It's no longer, you don't see, like, I watched a lot. Yes, you were invested in characters, but you were invested also, it was a wrestling match. Yes, the stories were told and you could see that, but it was a wrestling match. As for right now, just like what you all think, how has it changed since you started, from when you started becoming a fan till now? And what do you, just how that makes you feel, what you think about the business in general? Not necessarily, do you approve of the changes? Do you not like the changes? Are there some changes you like? Are there some changes you don't like? I could have a list of both, I guess. It's changed while y'all thinking. I'm going to give you mine, okay? Again, I told you where my origin story was from wrestling. It was the old NWA. It was wrestling. It was wrestling then. Now you have what? You have sports entertainment. Now, if I liked, or you have hardcore wrestling. So, which, let me be honest, I feel like I would like AEW. I'm not saying better or less than WWE. I feel like I would like it as a wrestling promotion if I could get into it. And that is why, because I feel like they do more. Now, y'all could correct me. I know they do stories over there, but I feel like the stories told in the ring a lot with the wrestling. I don't know, because I don't watch it that much, but that's from what I see. And that's not crapping on it, but they're definitely hardcore over there with an TK's promotion. So, yeah, because they got Jon Moxley, right? And they got all that crew over there. So yeah, they a little more hardcore and violent. But it's changed a lot. It's changed a lot for me. Do I like it? I like the fact that, like, for my generation of wrestling fans, we've been introduced, especially with the Bloodline story. Let me be real with this, especially with the Bloodline story and maybe somewhat of the Attitude Era, because I didn't watch the Attitude Era for the stories. It was too crazy. I couldn't focus, okay? But when I got to watch this Bloodline story, I actually got to appreciate the storylines a little more and not focus on the shenanigans and the craziness of trying to figure out the wrestling. And, like, I've always heard, do you prefer a 5-star match or a good story? I'm half and half. Show me you got some skills. Show me why you there, but also tell me a good story. But I love wrestling, so I love wrestling. I love getting in there. I love to see a good move set. I love to see some good aerials coming off the top rope. I love to see the good physical stuff. Let's see. Dalton says, I don't like changes. It changed a lot since someone died. I'm not going to mention names. Change. PG aired, TK and Triple H killed WWE. Which, now let me tell you about. I don't know. I'm not going to say that I know the role that Paul Levesque had in the whole TKO thing. I don't like TKO having their hands on WWE. And I'll tell you why, because I feel like TKO has so many other forms of entertainment WWE needs someone that's going to take care of and focus on just WWE. Its superstars and its fans. And those that work behind the scenes to make it what it is. We have, again, the ticket prices are crazy. If I could afford it, I wouldn't. You got seats going to celebrities that aren't, how many of those celebrities, y'all, let's be real. I know WWE has always invited celebrities, but how many of them are actually wrestling fans? Some of them, when you look across that crowd in those front row, in those ringside seats, they sitting and playing on their phone. Why y'all even there? I mean, I don't care if you had to pay 20 grand for a ticket. If you're going to pay 20 grand for a ticket, go and have freaking fun. Don't be on your phone. These content creators that go, oh, let me go be front row so I can get my face out there. Now, would I do it? Heck yeah. But also, when you see your wise woman at the front row of a WrestleMania someday, I'm not going to be sitting on my phone. Guess what? I'm going to be cheering my ass off. And y'all going to be sitting there, look at her making a fool of herself. I'm going to have fun, y'all, because that's what I am, is a wrestling fan. Okay? All righty. Let's see this comment. Let's see. TJ said it's definitely changed. We went from a federation to an Inc. Okay, I agree with that. Has opened doors and it's gotten better for the independent wrestlers who can venture from different promotions and countries to earn their stars, to be a star, right? That's the one good thing, like with WWE, that I do like now. It does give the opportunity, like you're seeing those indie stars, that they are collaborating more with TNA. They're collaborating more with, who else are they probably doing? Probably others, of course, because remember, they have the WWE ID. So they got these wrestling schools that they're collaborating with, these promotions that they can pull people from, and just to develop them. Y'all, watch independent wrestling. Watch independent wrestling. I don't care if it's the local promotion that comes to your high school gym. Been there, done that. Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Shout out Jim Cornette. Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I went to every show in Morristown and some shows in Knoxville, Tennessee. Awesome shows. Having said that, that's where, and I could, now I think I have a different opinion of her. That's not really good. But you look at folks like a Sunny, that's where she started at. Tammy Fitz, y'all. Tammy Fitz. You had legends come into that small little, and I would go down at the local rec center. That's, y'all, I live in a redneck town. The rec center is not that small, or big, rather. I would go to wrestling shows that the ring would be set up in the high school football field. But go to those local wrestling shows, okay? I don't care if it's MLW, your local wrestling show like that you go to in a high school gym or a high school football field, to MLW, to Ring of Honor, to House of Glory, to Reality of Wrestling, whatever, to all the way up to WWE. Support. If you're a wrestling fan, support wrestling. Okay. And I love it. I love JT's here. And he just sums it up best. And I love that he is a big supporter of indie wrestling. I wish I had the time to explore indie wrestling here in East Tennessee. I wish I did. But he says, support your indie wrestling. They see the foundation to this game we call professional wrestling. They are the foundation, y'all. Because before there was WWE per se, as we know it, there were territories. What made up the territories? What we now call the indies, right? Okay, so there you go. There you go. So, whew. I'm going to leave the floor open to y'all. Before I close up, I'm going to give you about a minute to do your final comments. You know what? Y'all showing some love, and that makes me happy. 37 of y'all come to my little unscripted. All I had was questions, and I just had the conversation with y'all. I'm proud of myself. I did a good show. But yes, so yes, support wrestling, guys. I hope you learned something this episode. If you didn't, go back and watch the first episode. Okay, that's going to give you the info. That's not just going to be where we answer the questions. That's going to give you the information that got me the questions. Okay. Thank you, Dalton. Thank you. And I'm gonna have a fire episode for y'all on house shows too. That the next one, like I said, is going to be on cover the magic of house shows. So that's my title for it. But guys, any final comments before I do a closing and we get out of here? Because it is 6:55. I've done good. I've almost been on an hour. But yes, support your indie shows, guys. Go to those indie shows. Some of those superstars too are the nicest superstars, and they just working hard, and they don't get paid huge, y'all. They do it. They doing it to either get somewhere better. They doing it for fun to get somewhere bigger. One question, I want y'all, if you ever go to an indie show, ask a couple of them, why did you get into this business? And see how different their answers are. Some of them may surprise you. Some of them you may shake your head and be like, cool, okay, I see. Yes, so NXT is it getting ready to start, or do I have an hour? It starts at 8, doesn't it? Eastern time. So I got an hour, but I got other things to do. I got some business stuff to do. Right, JT? I'll see if I may be there. We'll see. But yes, y'all definitely support wrestling. And I'm glad to have been able to come and talk about a business that I love, a business at one time I wanted to be in and, trained a little bit to be in. Actually had a few local indie matches. I wish I had that video because it was freaking awesome, if I do say so myself. Me and my friend worked a match and it was so freaking amazing. But, so I do know when they take them bumps, trust me, I know what that feels like. But no, just to share, my big girl goal when I wanted to be in the business though was I wanted to be a manager. And then I found out that the managers had to train basically as wrestlers. And if I would have had the money, I would have went, not knowing that at the time what I do now and what I do now with the podcast, but I had them looked up. I would have ended up going had I had the money, I would have ended up going to the Wild Samoan Training Center. That was my choice. I swear, I wish I could take y'all back to that moment, but I had it. I had it looked up. But anywho, let's get over here. Let's see. Dalton says, I'm glad I watched. You did a great job with questions. Was deep, but you're doing a good job. Well, you are just sweet as usual. I love y'all. I love my fellas in here. Y'all are the best. But having said that, of course, where you can find it, okay, so that's all I need to do, right? Okay, it's just the ending. So again, remember Friday, we got the SmackDown watch party. We're going to do it at 8. So if you want to join, I know y'all probably already will have watched it, but please join. Y'all know we don't even talk about the show half the time anyways, do we? And then Saturday, Monty will be with you, hopefully with some guests for Rumble. And again, like I said, if I get VTO Saturday, guess who's going to raise her hand for VTO on Saturday? If I get off before 2 o'clock, it's going to be this girl here. Okay. So anyways, there we go, y'all. Episode 2, part 2 is in the books. Hope y'all enjoyed. You can find ATD on X at ATD Podcast 23, on IG and Threads, _the_ Dynasty, on TikTok, _the_Dynasty, and all across social media, even on Facebook. I'm trying to build that Facebook, guys. Also, our next big goal, we got the 130 subscribers. Our next big goal, according to vidIQ, shout out vidIQ, is 190. But I want my 500 because I want my button. Y'all know that. Okay. But anyways, y'all catch us the rest of the week, okay? I'm gonna work tomorrow. Leslie is off Thursday. I gotta work Friday, so y'all see me Friday. Anyways, yes, make sure you follow, like, subscribe, hit those notifications. Any content creators, y'all welcome to come on. Let's get on my books. We booking for the first part of the year, so we'd love to have you all on to talk about your shows and what y'all do, your brand, promote each other, right? Content creators helping each other, right? Speaking of the indies, any indie wrestler, come on. We got you. We'll promote you and promote your stuff. We'd love to have some time with you. Shout out to the whole reason we do this. Shout out to every member of the Anawai Fatu family. We love you guys. Roman twins, Jacob, Damu, you got Alpha Jr., you got Lance. Oh gosh. And I can't go through that whole family tree because y'all know that's a family forest, right? But anyways, I'm gonna quit running my mouth. Love y'all big. Thank you for allowing us to do this for you guys. It's our gift to you. We hope that you love it. But anyways, y'all have a good night. I got to get me some ending like Monty does or I rant. But you all have a good night. If you're still recovering from this storm, please be safe. Stay warm. I love y'all. And I mean that. That's my heart. But y'all have a good night. Love you guys. Tell a friend about us, and we will see you Friday, okay? See ya. Good night. Go watch NXT.